Admiral Samantha Garcia stared at the massive alien ship that filled the main screen of Earth Defense Fleet headquarters. The vessel was unlike anything humans had ever built. Sleek, impossibly large, and surrounded by a faint purple glow. It had appeared just beyond Mars' orbit less than 3 hours ago, followed by 30 smaller but equally intimidating craft. "Play the message again," she ordered, her voice steady despite the tension filling the command center. The screen flickered, and a creature appeared. It had 6 eyes arranged in a circle around a central mouth filled with needle-like teeth. Its skin was pale blue with patches of what looked like metallic scales. "People of Earth," the alien spoke in perfect English, each word precise and emotionless. "I am High General Zex Tyler of the Krax Imperium. Our empire spans 300 worlds across 17 star systems. We have studied your planet for decades. You are classified as Deathworlders, creatures evolved in harsh gravity and hostile conditions. Your natural aggression makes you dangerous. Therefore, we require your immediate and unconditional surrender. You have 24 Earth hours to comply. Resistance will result in your extinction." The screen went dark. "That's the 5th time we've watched it, and it still doesn't make sense," said Commander John Davis, moving to stand beside Garcia. "They cross interstellar space with a massive fleet, then give us time to prepare? Why not just attack?" John was a veteran of Earth's resource wars. At 45, his face showed the scars of hard battles and harder decisions. Garcia trusted his instincts more than any computer analysis. "They're afraid," she realized aloud. "Ma'am? Look at their message again. They call us Deathworlders. They're scared of what we might do if cornered." John's eyes widened slightly. "You might be right. Which means we have leverage." Garcia nodded. "We need to stall for time. Get me a direct channel to their command ship." While communications officers scrambled to establish contact, John pulled Garcia aside. "Admiral, there's something you should know," he said quietly. "Project Moonfall is operational." Garcia's expression hardened. "That's impossible. The project was shut down years ago." "Officially, yes. Unofficially, development continued. It's ready." Project Moonfall was the military's most classified weapons system, a gravity manipulation device designed to create targeted singularities. In theory, it could collapse any object in space into itself. The ethical implications had supposedly led to its cancellation. "Who authorized this?" Garcia demanded. "Joint Chiefs with presidential approval. After our deep space telescopes detected the Krax fleet 15 years ago, development was accelerated in secret." Before Garcia could respond, a young lieutenant interrupted. "Admiral, we have a connection to the alien flagship." Garcia composed herself and faced the main screen. "This is Admiral Samantha Garcia of the United Earth Defense Fleet. I wish to discuss terms with High General Zex Tyler." The screen remained black for several seconds before the alien commander appeared. "There are no terms to discuss, Admiral. Only surrender." Garcia kept her expression neutral. "Surrender is a serious decision that affects billions of lives. Our planetary government requires time to confer. We request a 48-hour extension." The alien's 6 eyes blinked in an unsettling pattern. "Your request suggests you are planning resistance. This would be unwise." "Not at all, General. It's simply a matter of process. Our leaders are scattered across the planet and must be gathered. Surely the Krax Imperium understands the complexities of planetary governance." While Garcia spoke, John slipped away from the command center. He made his way to a secure communications room where he entered a series of codes into a specialized terminal. "Authentication Davis Alpha 79 Echo," he spoke clearly. "Activate Moonfall Protocol." A female voice responded from the terminal. Voice print confirmed. "Moonfall Protocol requires secondary authorization." John removed a small device from his pocket and placed it on the scanner. "Secondary authorization, Prometheus Rising." Authorization accepted. Moonfall facilities powering up. Estimated time to operational status, 3 hours. Meanwhile, on the far side of the moon, Dr. Olivia Spencer was analyzing unusual energy readings when her equipment suddenly went haywire. "What in the world?" she muttered. adjusting settings on her instruments. Olivia was the lead researcher at the Lunar Research Station, officially studying lunar geology. In reality, her work involved much more sensitive matters, specifically alien technology recovered from a crashed spacecraft decades earlier. Her assistant, Ryan Green, looked up from his own console. "Dr. Spencer, are you seeing this? There's massive power usage coming from Sector 7. Olivia frowned. Sector 7 was supposed to be an abandoned mining facility. "That's impossible, nothing's active in that sector." She pulled up satellite imagery of the area and gasped. The supposedly empty crater was now filled with activity. Massive doors had opened in the lunar surface and something was emerging, something huge. Back at Earth Defense Headquarters, Garcia continued her diplomatic dance with the alien commander. "Perhaps a demonstration of your technology would help convince our leaders of the futility of resistance," she suggested. "It might speed their decision." The alien commander seemed to consider this. "Very well. Observe." The view on the screen shifted to show one of the smaller alien vessels moving toward a large asteroid in the belt between Mars and Jupiter. A beam of energy shot out from the ship, and the asteroid simply vanished, converted to its component atoms. Zexitaler explained. "We can do the same to your cities." Garcia managed to hide her shock. "Impressive. This will certainly influence our leader's decision." After ending the transmission, Garcia immediately called an emergency meeting of Earth's Defense Council. Representatives from major military powers gathered virtually as she explained the situation. "They have technology far beyond ours," she concluded. "At least, beyond what we've publicly acknowledged." The Russian general spoke first. "What about Project Moonfall?" Garcia's eyes narrowed. "You know about that?" "All council members were briefed when the project was continued in secret," said the Chinese representative. "The question is, will it work against these aliens?" "Commander Davis has already activated the protocol," Garcia admitted. "But we need time. And we need to evacuate the moon immediately. All research personnel and military units not essential to Moonfall." On the moon, Olivia had discovered classified files that explained exactly what was happening. Project Moonfall wasn't just a weapon. It was a complete defense system built using reverse-engineered alien technology. The same technology she'd been studying, but weaponized to a degree she never imagined possible. As evacuation orders came through, she made a decision. Instead of boarding the transport with other researchers, she copied the files to a portable drive and headed toward Sector 7. If humanity was about to use this weapon, someone needed to understand exactly what they were unleashing. In Earth orbit, the alien fleet began to move into attack formation despite the ongoing negotiations. The 24-hour deadline was approaching, and the cracks were preparing to make good on their threat. High General Zex Talar watched the tiny blue planet with his 6 eyes, feeling uneasy despite his overwhelming military advantage. There was something about these humans that worried him. Something in their admiral's calm demeanor that suggested she knew something he didn't. Deathworlders were always unpredictable. That's why the Imperium policy was to demand surrender first, and only resort to extinction if absolutely necessary. But, as his ships moved into position, he couldn't shake the feeling that these particular Deathworlders were about to surprise him in ways he couldn't imagine. Eric Mason stood in a massive underground chamber carved deep beneath the Rocky Mountains. Around him, machines hummed to life, many of them unlike anything most humans had ever seen. Blue light pulsed through transparent tubes that ran along the walls and ceiling. The air smelled like ozone and metal. "System check complete. All primary nodes online," reported a technician. Eric nodded and pressed his palm against a scanner. As chief engineer of Project Moonfall, only he and 2 others could fully activate the graviton displacement array. The weapon represented humanity's greatest technological achievement and its darkest secret. "Begin power-up sequence," he ordered. "Route all available energy from the continental grid." Warnings would soon appear on power networks across North America as electricity was diverted to this hidden facility. The cover story about a major grid test was already prepared. Every detail had been planned 15 years ago when humans first detected the Krax fleet approaching the solar system. Eric watched as the central device, a series of concentric rings suspended around a pulsing core, began to spin slowly. The weapon was beautiful in a terrifying way. It had been built using knowledge gleaned from a crashed alien ship found in the Arctic in 1979, the same ship that had warned of the Krax. His phone buzzed with a message from Admiral Garcia. Delay if possible, negotiating for time. Eric frowned. The weapon needed 3 hours to reach full charge regardless. He sent a quick reply. No delay possible. Point of no return in 10 minutes. On the lunar surface, Lieutenant Kelly Washington led her team of 6 Special Forces soldiers toward the relay station. They moved with practiced efficiency despite their bulky spacesuits. Each soldier carried advanced weapons that looked more alien than human. Command, this is Lunar Team. We've reached Entry Point Alpha, Kelly reported, her voice calm despite the mission's importance. Her job was simple but critical: secure the relay station that would direct the graviton weapon's energy. Without it, the weapon was useless. Intelligence suggested the Krax might have already infiltrated the moon. Copy, Lunar Team. Be advised, civilian researcher detected in Sector 7. Identify and extract if possible. Kelly signaled her team to move forward through the airlock. Once inside the facility, they removed their helmets and activated their augmentations. Subdermal implants enhanced their strength, speed, and reflexes. Ocular implants provided tactical data directly to their visual cortex. These military enhancements had been developed in secret, hidden from both the public and alien surveillance. Now they might make the difference between victory and defeat. Split. Into pairs, secure the facility, Kelly ordered. Mason, Cruz, find our stray scientist. As her team dispersed, Kelly moved toward the central control room with her second-in-command, Corporal Alan Diaz. The facility seemed deserted, but warning lights flashed on multiple panels. Someone's been here recently, Alan noted, checking the logs. Systems were accessed 30 minutes ago, Kelly nodded. And they knew the access codes. Stay alert. In the command center on Earth, Admiral Garcia continued her video conversation with High General Zex Taller. The aliens' 6 eyes blinked in their unsettling pattern. Your time grows short, Admiral, the alien said. We detect unusual energy, patterns from your planet and moon. What are you planning? Garcia kept her face neutral. Power fluctuations are normal as we prepare our leadership for transition. Nothing more. You lie poorly for a military leader, Zex Taller said. Perhaps we should demonstrate our power again, this time on your moon base. That would be unwise during negotiations, Garcia replied smoothly. Tell me, General, why does the Krax Imperium fear humans so much? The alien's mouth parts twitched. Fear? We do not fear. We are cautious. Your species evolved on a high-gravity world with extreme weather and dangerous predators. Your bodies are dense, your reactions quick, your minds aggressive. In our experience, Deathworlders who achieve spaceflight eventually become threats to galactic stability. So this is preemptive. You attack us before we can become a problem. We offer you a place in the Imperium, under our guidance. Your alternative is extinction. These are generous terms. Garcia leaned forward. What if we already have allies among the stars? The alien's reaction was subtle, but unmistakable, a ripple of tension across its features. Impossible. We have monitored your communications. You are alone. Garcia smiled slightly. Are you certain? In the lunar facility, Dr. Olivia Spencer worked frantically at a computer terminal. She had discovered something horrifying in the classified files. Project Moonfall wasn't just built with alien technology. Parts of it were alive. Quantum biological components, she muttered, scanning the technical specifications. They're using alien tissue integrated with the machinery. She didn't notice the 2 soldiers who entered the room until one spoke. Dr. Spencer, we're here to evacuate you. Olivia spun around, startled. You don't understand. This weapon, it's not what everyone thinks. There are biological components that could be sentient. We can't activate it without understanding the implications. The soldiers exchanged glances. "Ma'am, our orders are to bring you out. The weapon will fire in less than 2 hours." Suddenly, alarms blared throughout the facility. A computerized voice announced, "Security breach detected, unknown entities in sectors 3 and 4. Kelly's voice came through their comms. "All units, we have contact. Alien forces have breached the lower levels. Protect the relay at all costs." In the Rocky Mountain facility, Eric Mason received the alert from the moon. "Admiral, we have Crack's forces on the lunar surface, attempting to disable our relay." Garcia's expression hardened. "Lieutenant Washington will handle it. Continue the countdown." Eric turned to his team. "Accelerate the power sequence, bypass safety protocols if necessary." On the main screen, the graviton core glowed brighter, the rings spinning faster. Warning indicators flashed as the power draw increased beyond designed parameters. "Sir, the system isn't meant to charge this quickly," protested a technician. "The biological components are showing stress." "Biological components?" Eric asked sharply. "Yes, sir. The quantum neural matrix. It's partly organic." Eric had never been told this detail. He wondered what else had been kept from him about the weapon he helped build. On the moon, Kelly and her team engaged the Crack's infiltrators in the narrow corridors of the relay station. The aliens were tall, fast, and armed with energy weapons that left scorch marks on the walls. "They're trying to reach the main transmitter," Kelly shouted over the comms. "Diaz, flank them from Corridor B." Her augmented reflexes allowed her to dodge an energy blast that would have killed a normal human. She returned fire with her pulse rifle, dropping an alien infiltrator. Its body disintegrated into gray ash. "They self-destruct when killed," she reported. No chance to capture one. As her team fought through the facility, Dr. Spencer worked to understand the relay's systems. The soldiers had left her at a secure terminal while they joined the defense. What she discovered confirmed her fears. The technology wasn't just alien, it was specifically designed to counter the Cracks. The warning from the crashed ship had been very specific, containing detailed technical plans for weapons like Moonfall. But who had sent that ship? And why give humans such devastating technology? In orbit, High General Zextaler received disturbing reports from his infiltration team. "The humans have gravity manipulation technology," his second-in-command reported. "Our scouts confirm it before they were engaged." "Impossible," Zextaler hissed. "They cannot have developed such technology independently. The design appears to be Ardari." The general froze. The Ardari were an ancient race thought extinct for millennia. If they had contacted Earth, "Begin the attack immediately," he ordered. "Target their moon first, then major population centers." As the Cracks fleet moved into attack position, Admiral Garcia watched calmly from her command center. The countdown on her screen showed less than 1 hour remaining until Moonfall was ready. Everything now depended on Kelly's team securing the lunar relay and Eric's team completing the weapon's charge cycle. If either failed, Earth would face the full might of the Cracks Imperium with no defense, and somewhere in deep space unknown to both humans and Cracks, others were watching events unfold with great interest. Admiral Garcia stood on the bridge of the small diplomatic vessel as it moved toward the designated meeting point in Earth orbit. Despite the danger, she had insisted on meeting General Zextaler face-to-face. Something about the alien commander's reactions made her believe a direct conversation might reveal useful information. "This is reckless, Admiral," Commander John Davis said quietly beside her. "They could capture or kill you." "They won't," Garcia replied with unusual confidence. "They're too curious about us now. And we need 40 more minutes for Moonfall to reach full charge." The small ship approached the massive Cracks vessel. It was even more impressive up close, nearly 2 miles long with a surface that seemed to shift and move like liquid metal. "They're extending a docking tube," reported the pilot. Garcia straightened her uniform. "Remember, Commander, if I don't return in 30 minutes, you leave immediately." John nodded grimly. They both knew he wouldn't abandon her, but protocols had to be acknowledged. Garcia walked alone through the alien docking tube. The atmosphere felt thick and smelled faintly sweet. At the end of the passage, a door slid open to reveal a large chamber with a curved ceiling that displayed what looked like a star map. High General Zextaler waited in the center, flanked by 4 guards. Up close, the alien was taller than Garcia had expected, nearly 7 feet high with a slender build that somehow suggested both fragility and strength. "Admiral," the alien's voice had an odd musical quality in person. "Your request for this meeting was unexpected. I believe direct communication can prevent misunderstandings," Garcia replied calmly. "There is no misunderstanding. Your species must submit or be eliminated." Garcia smiled slightly. "Before we continue that discussion, may I ask how the cracks Imperium became aware of Earth?" The general's 6 eyes blinked in sequence. "We have observational outposts throughout this galactic sector. Your primitive radio transmissions were detected over a century ago. And you've been watching us since then? Through our world wars? Our rapid technological development?" "Yes. Your violence concerned us. Deathworlders who direct their aggression inward eventually direct it outward once they achieve interstellar capability." Garcia nodded thoughtfully. "Yet you waited until now to contact us. Why?" For the first time, the alien seemed slightly uncomfortable. "The Imperium has protocols for first contact. Observation must be complete before action is taken." "Or perhaps," Garcia suggested, "you were waiting to see if we received help from someone else." The alien's body stiffened noticeably. On the moon, Lieutenant Kelly Washington fired her pulse rifle at the last Crack's infiltrator, blocking access to the relay control room. The alien dissolved into ash as the energy pulse hit its chest. "Clear," she called out. "Diaz, status report." Corporal Alan Diaz appeared from a side corridor, his armor scorched but intact. "3 of our team wounded, none critical. We've lost contact with Mason and Cruz, who were escorting the scientist." Kelly frowned. Without Dr. Spencer, they might not be able to repair the relay system that had been damaged in the fighting. And without the relay, Earth's weapon would have nowhere to direct its energy. "Find them," she ordered. "I'll secure the control room." Inside the control center, Kelly surveyed the damage. Several consoles were destroyed, and the main targeting array was offline. She activated her comm link to Earth. "Command, this is Lieutenant Washington. We've secured the relay station, but the targeting system is damaged. Need technical guidance." The response came after a brief delay. "Lieutenant, can you locate the quantum alignment module? It should be in the central console." Kelly moved to the main control panel and opened its access panel. Inside was a strange device, a crystalline sphere surrounded by metal rings, pulsing with blue light. "I see it. It appears intact." "Good. We need you to manually align it with Earth coordinates. Dr. Spencer should know how." As if on cue, the door slid open and Dr. Spencer rushed in, followed by the 2 missing soldiers. "We were trapped in a storage area during the fighting," she explained quickly, moving to the console. "Let me see the alignment module." Olivia examined the device with expert eyes. "It's shifted out of alignment. I can fix this, but..." She hesitated, looking at Kelly with concern. "Do you know what this weapon actually does?" "It targets the Crack's fleet," Kelly answered simply. "It does far more than that," Olivia said quietly. "This technology creates artificial gravity wells that can collapse matter in on itself. It essentially creates a temporary black hole. If aimed at a planet..." Kelly's expression hardened. "We're not aiming it at a planet. We're targeting their fleet to stop an invasion." Olivia nodded and began the delicate work of realigning the module. Her fingers moved with practiced precision despite the gravity of the situation. Deep beneath the Rocky Mountains, Eric Mason watched the power levels climb toward maximum charge. The graviton displacement array hummed with energy, its concentric rings now spinning so fast they appeared as solid disks. 95% capacity, reported a technician. "Relay status?" "Coming back online now," another responded. "We're receiving targeting data from Lunar Station." Eric studied the suggested target coordinates with a frown. They weren't aimed at the Crack's fleet as he had expected. Instead, they pointed to a specific location in space near Mars. "Confirm these coordinates," he ordered. This can't be right. The technician verified the numbers. Coordinates confirmed. Sir, they came directly from Admiral Garcia's command codes. Eric pulled up a map of the solar system on his screen. The target location corresponded to Phobos, one of Mars' small moons. Why would they target an uninhabited moon instead of the hostile fleet threatening Earth? Then understanding dawned on him. This wasn't meant to be an attack. It was meant to be a demonstration. In the Crack's command ship, Admiral Garcia maintained her calm demeanor as General Zexitaler grew increasingly agitated. "You are stalling," the alien accused. "Our sensors detect energy buildup on your planet and unusual activity on your moon. You prepare for resistance despite knowing it is futile." "Not resistance," Garcia corrected. "Insurance. Tell me, General, has the Crack's Imperium encountered the Ardari?" The effect was immediate and dramatic. The alien leader took a step back, all 6 eyes widening. "How do you know that name?" Garcia smiled. "Let's just say we've had visitors before you arrived. Visitors who warned us about the Crack's Imperium and its habit of conquering lesser civilizations." "The Ardari are extinct," Zextaler insisted, but there was uncertainty in his voice. "Are they? Or did they simply hide from you?" Garcia glanced at the time display on her wrist device. "I think our negotiations need a new foundation, one based on mutual respect rather than threats." The general's mouth parts clicked rapidly. What Garcia guessed was a sign of stress or anger. "The deadline for your surrender has passed. There is nothing to negotiate." Garcia's smile didn't waver. "Before you make that decision final, I'd like to show you something. A small demonstration of why threats against Earth are unwise." She tapped a command into her wrist device, sending the final authorization code to Eric Mason. Then she pointed to the large viewing screen that dominated one wall of the chamber. "Watch carefully, General. In about 30 seconds you'll understand why Deathworlders like us are best approached with diplomacy rather than demands." The general gave an order in his native language, and the screen shifted to show a view of Mars and its 2 small moons. As both human and alien watched in silence, a thin beam of energy, almost invisible except for a slight distortion of stars behind it, shot from the direction of Earth's moon toward the smaller of Mars's moons. Several seconds nothing happened. Then Phobos began to glow. Its surface seemed to ripple, then compress inward as if being crushed by an invisible hand. In a spectacular but silent display, the small moon imploded, its entire mass collapsing to a bright point before exploding outward in a shower of dust and debris. Where Phobos had orbited for billions of years, nothing remained but a spreading cloud of particles. General Zexitaler stared in stunned silence. His guards made high-pitched sounds that Garcia's translator couldn't process. "That," Garcia said quietly, "was our smallest weapon used at minimum power against an uninhabited moon 1/3 the size of your command ship." She turned to face the alien leader directly. "Now, shall we discuss those surrender terms again? Only this time I think it's the Cracks who should be offering terms." Silence filled the Cracks command ship as the dust cloud that was once Phobos continued to expand. General Zexitaler's 6 eyes remained fixed on the screen, his alien features showing what even Admiral Garcia could recognize as shock. "Impossible," the general finally said. "This technology, it cannot be human in origin." "The design is ours," Garcia replied calmly. "We had guidance, yes, but humans built it. Humans control it. And right now, it's being recharged for a second demonstration." This was a bluff. The graviton displacement array would require at least 6 hours to reach full power again, but the alien didn't need to know that. "You claim the Ardari helped you?" Zextaler asked, his voice now lacking its earlier confidence. Garcia nodded. "One of their ships crashed on our planet decades ago. It contained warnings about the Crack's Imperium and technical data to help us defend ourselves. They called you consumers of worlds." The general's body seemed to deflate slightly. "The Ardari were idealistic. They misunderstood our purpose. We do not consume worlds. We integrate them into our collective. By force. When necessary. Most species recognize the benefits of joining us. Garcia crossed her arms. And if Earth refuses to be integrated? Before the general could answer, one of his subordinates rushed into the chamber, speaking rapidly in the Cracks language. The general's posture changed immediately, tension visible in his movements. "Your weapon has created a problem, Admiral," he said. "The destruction of Phobos has generated a spatial anomaly, energy readings unlike anything we've seen before." Garcia's confidence faltered for the first time. This wasn't part of the plan. "Show me." The screen shifted to display the area where Phobos had been. At the center of the dust cloud, a small point of brilliant blue light pulsed. With each pulse, waves of energy spread outward. On the lunar surface, Kelly Washington and Dr. Spencer felt the relay station shake as another tremor passed through it. "These quakes started right after Phobos was destroyed," Kelly said, bracing herself against a console. "What's happening?" Olivia studied the readings on the main screen with growing concern. The weapon didn't just destroy the moon, it created a spatial tear. The gravity displacement isn't dissipating as it should. "Is Earth in danger?" Kelly asked directly. "Not immediately. But the tear is growing. If it continues..." Olivia didn't finish the thought. She didn't need to. Kelly activated her comlink. "Command, we have a situation here. Dr. Spencer reports the weapon created some kind of spatial tear where Phobos was." There was a long pause before Eric Mason's voice came through instead of the expected response from command. "We see it, Lieutenant. The tear is emitting energy signatures we've never encountered before. Keep the relay active. We may need to use it again to stabilize the anomaly." In the Rocky Mountain facility, Eric and his team worked frantically to understand what had happened. The weapon had performed exactly as designed, but the aftermath was unexpected. "The energy readings make no sense," said one scientist, looking up from her monitor. "It's like the tear is transmitting something." Eric moved to her station. "Transmitting what? And to where?" "Unknown. But there's definitely an information pattern in the energy pulses, almost like a signal." Eric felt a chill run through him. Had they inadvertently created some kind of beacon? And if so, who or what might be receiving it? On the Cracks command ship, technicians worked alongside General Zextaler as Admiral Garcia watched. Despite being enemies minutes ago, both species now faced a common unknown. "The anomaly is growing," the general stated. "And it's definitely transmitting. We've seen this energy signature before in ancient records." "From the Ardari?" Garcia asked. "No. From before the Ardari." The general turned all 6 eyes toward her. "Admiral, there are things about our galaxy's history you should know. The Cracks Imperium didn't expand merely for conquest. We expanded for protection." "Protection from what?" "From those who came before. The ancients who built the gateways between stars." The general's voice had dropped to almost a whisper. "The ones the Ardari feared enough to flee across the galaxy." Before Garcia could ask more questions, her communication device chimed. It was Commander Davis from the Earth vessel. "Admiral, you need to return immediately. We're receiving strange transmissions from multiple points in the solar system. Ancient automated beacons are activating." Garcia looked at the general. "We need to work together now. Whatever's happening affects us both." For a moment, the alien leader seemed to struggle with the decision. Then he nodded sharply. "Agreed. A temporary alliance until this situation is understood." As Garcia prepared to return to her ship, the general added, "Admiral, if what I suspect is happening is true, your weapon may have awakened something that has slept for millennia." Back on the moon, Olivia worked to decode the energy patterns emanating from the spatial tear. Years of studying alien technology had given her insights few other humans possessed. "These patterns aren't random," she told Kelly. "They're responses. Whatever our weapon did, something on the other side is answering." "Other side of what?" Kelly asked, looking uneasy. "I don't know. Another dimension? Another part of space?" The signals are getting stronger and more complex. Suddenly, every screen in the control room filled with the same image. a symbol Olivia had seen before in the files from the crashed Ardari ship. A circle containing 3 intersecting lines. This was in the warning messages, she said quietly. The mark of those the Ardari fled from. At that moment, multiple new contacts appeared on the long-range sensors. Objects moving at impossible speeds were entering the solar system from all directions. Eric Mason saw the same readings in the mountain facility. Command, we have multiple inbound objects, not crack ships. Origin unknown. Admiral Garcia, now back aboard the Earth vessel, received the reports with growing concern. She opened a channel to General Zex Taller. General, are these your reinforcements? The alien's response was immediate and tense. No. Our nearest fleet is weeks away. These are not cracks. I am ordering my ships to defensive positions. The cracks fleet began to move, forming a protective barrier between the approaching objects and Earth. It was an unexpected gesture that wasn't lost on Garcia. Why protect us? She asked. Because if what approaches is what I fear, we will need each other to survive. The Cracks Imperium has encountered traces of these beings before. Ancient worlds stripped of all life, massive structures that defy our understanding of physics. Garcia watched on the screens as the unknown objects slowed their approach. There were 7 of them, each perfectly spherical and larger than the biggest Cracks vessel. What are they? She asked, though she already suspected the answer. They are why we consume worlds, the general replied solemnly. They are why we build our strength. They are the ancient ones who taught the Ardari to fear the dark spaces between stars. The objects came to a stop, forming a perfect ring around the spatial tear created by the destruction of Phobos. As humans and Cracks watched, the tear expanded, its blue light engulfing the mysterious spheres. Then a voice, transmitted simultaneously to every communication device in the solar system, spoke in a language no living being had heard for thousands of years. Yet somehow, everyone understood. The gateway is opened. The travelers return. All shall be remade. The 7 massive spheres hanging in space began to change. Their perfectly smooth surfaces rippled and transformed, sections sliding open to reveal intricate patterns of light beneath. Around them, the dust cloud that was once Phobos swirled and gathered, being absorbed into the spherical vessels. On Earth, in space, and on the lunar surface, humans and Cracks alike watched with a mixture of wonder and dread. Admiral Garcia sat, in emergency conference with world leaders, General Zex Taller joining via holographic projection. The image of the alien commander floated above the conference table, his 6 eyes scanning the human officials. The beings you have awakened are called the predecessors, the general explained. They existed before the Ardari, before the Cracks, before any current species in our section of the galaxy. We know them only from ruins and artifacts left on dead worlds. And they're hostile? Asked the American president. We don't know, the general admitted. No living being has communicated with them in thousands of years. The Ardari left warnings about them, saying they had fled to this region of space to escape their influence. Garcia leaned forward. Then why did the Ardari give us the weapon? That would apparently wake them up? A moment of silence followed before the general answered. Perhaps they knew the predecessors would return eventually. Perhaps they thought humans, as Deathworlders, might succeed where they failed. On the lunar surface, Dr. Olivia Spencer worked frantically to decode the increasingly complex signals emanating from the spatial tear. Lieutenant Kelly Washington and her team secured the perimeter of the relay station, though they all knew conventional weapons would be useless if these ancient beings proved hostile. I've isolated a pattern, Olivia announced suddenly. It's a mathematical sequence followed by what appears to be language samples. They're trying to communicate? Kelly asked, looking over the scientist's shoulder. I think they're trying. To teach us how to communicate with them, Olivia replied, like creating a translation matrix. In the Rocky Mountain facility, Eric Mason had reached the same conclusion. His team fed the incoming data into their most powerful quantum computers, trying to build a framework for communication. It's working, one of the scientists said with surprise. The algorithm is practically writing itself. It's like they're helping us understand them. Eric studied the emerging patterns with growing concern, or helping themselves understand us. Be careful what information we send back. The computer screens suddenly went blank, then filled with a single message in perfectly formed English. We remember the Ardari. We have waited for their children. Eric's team exchanged nervous glances. Should we respond? Yes, Eric decided after a moment. But keep it simple and truthful. They likely can detect deception. The scientist typed, "We are not Ardari. We are humans of Earth." The response came immediately. "We know what you are. Deathworlders who wield Ardari knowledge. Impressive, unexpected." In orbit, the Krax fleet maintained defensive positions, though their weapons would be useless against the technology displayed by the predecessors. Admiral Garcia, now back on her command ship, opened a direct channel to the mysterious spheres. "This is Admiral Samantha Garcia of Earth. We activated the weapon in self-defense, not to summon you. What are your intentions toward our world?" For long moments there was no response. Then a beam of light shot from the nearest sphere, creating a holographic image in the center of her bridge. The figure that appeared was tall and slender, with 4 arms and a head that seemed to shift and change as she watched. It wasn't solid, but composed of swirling patterns of light and energy. "We have no intentions toward your world, Deathworlder," the being spoke, its voice somehow both mechanical and organic. "Our interest is in what you have become." "And what is that?" Garcia asked. "A species that should not have advanced so quickly. A primitive race suddenly wielding technologies beyond your understanding. The Ardari chose you, but we do not yet know why." General Zextaller's voice cut in over the communication system. "The humans are under our protection now." The luminous being turned, seeming to notice the alien for the first time. "Ah, the Krax. Still expanding, still consuming. You were meant to be shepherds, not conquerors." The general's response was surprisingly humble. "We lost our way perhaps, but we remembered enough to recognize your return." On the moon, Olivia had established her own communication with the predecessors through the relay station. The being she spoke with appeared different, more geometric in form, composed of shifting blue triangles. "The weapon was never meant to be a weapon," the entity explained. "It was a key to open the gateway. The Ardari sealed us away, fearing what they did not understand." "And what are you?" Olivia asked directly. "We are the caretakers. We maintain balance. We observe and intervene, only when necessary." Kelly, standing nearby with her weapon lowered, asked, "Are you here to conquer Earth?" The being's form shifted, patterns rearranging in what might have been amusement. "Conquest is a concept for the young. We are beyond such things. We are here because you are at a crossroads." In the mountain facility, Eric received similar messages. The predecessors spoke of cosmic balance, of tests and judgments, of species that rose and fell over millions of years. "They're not here to attack," he told his team with growing certainty. "They're here to evaluate." World leaders watched nervously as the 7 spheres began to move, forming a new pattern around Earth and the Moon. The spatial tear pulsed once more, then began to shrink until it vanished completely. The predecessor speaking to Admiral Garcia extended one flowing arm. "Your species faced extinction and responded not with fear but with ingenuity. You destroyed a moon rather than surrender your freedom. The Ardari chose well." "Chose us for what?" Garcia asked. "To replace them as guardians of this sector. The Krax were meant to be your counterbalance, your opposite, pushing you to evolve and adapt. Together, you will face what comes from beyond the galactic rim." The being's form began to fade. "We will return when you are ready for the next stage. Until then, Deathworlders continue to surprise us." One by one, the massive spheres disappeared, not through conventional movement, but by simply fading from existence. In moments, all 7 were gone, leaving humans and Krax staring at empty space. On the bridge of his command ship, General Zextallar turned to face Admiral Garcia's image on his view screen. The alien's posture had completely changed. No longer threatening, but respectful. It seems, Admiral, that our peoples have a shared destiny, whether we wished it or not. Garcia nodded slowly. It seems so. The question is, where do we go from here? We build, the general said simply. We prepare. The predecessors spoke of something coming from beyond the galaxy. If they consider it a threat, we should be concerned. As the sun rose over Earth, casting golden light across a planet that had come terrifyingly close to war with an alien race, new communications began between human and Crax leaders. Treaties were drafted, knowledge was shared, and preparations began for whatever might be waiting in the darkness between stars. In her quarters aboard the command ship, Admiral Garcia looked out at the stars and smiled slightly. Humanity had survived not through surrender, but through showing the universe what Deathworlders were capable of. They had deleted a moon and awakened ancient beings, all in their first official contact with alien life. Whatever came next, the galaxy would never again underestimate the determination of humans from Earth.